What made Chip Trayanum an option for you on kickoff return?
Well, he first off, he has running back experience, so he's carried the ball in college games. When you look at his numbers on the GPS, he's really fast, and we look for that. And then also he's got some strength to him, and I think when you're looking for somebody to return in the kickoff game, you got to have somebody that's got some strength to them, because that can be a situation where you got to be strong. It's you got to be built sort of like a running back or a bigger wide receiver, in my opinion, to do it all the time. Now you can try to hit a home run once in a while with maybe a slider guy, but you run the risk of them getting whacked. So we think that he really has an opportunity to be a good returner for us. Now we didn't get a chance to see that last week, but we're hoping to this week.
All righty, we'll go next to Tim May from Letterman Row. Tim.
Hello, Ryan. Sorry. How much do you want a complete game, and what defines a complete game for you? You know what you mean as a head coach? Because obviously, if you get things put out of hand, you might have some backups in there, et cetera. But what do you define as a complete game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really look at it like that as much as I look at like, what are we getting better at? Where are we at? In all areas. And so you look at each individual player, you look at each side of the ball, then you look at the whole thing as a team. And if we can get better in all areas, then we're starting to build on that. Now we talk about a complete game. Certainly the turnover battle is huge. If you're winning the turnover battle, that's critical. If you're stopping the run and running the football, that means you're controlling the game. And then if you're doing well, in situational football, then that's probably going to be a good solid day, and then obviously the special teams battle. And so you have to win in all those areas, I guess, to be a complete game. But really, we just want to keep getting better, keep getting stronger, keep growing, keep building.
And in the penalty area also, right? I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that ties into all that. I mean, if you're, not moving the ball and not converting on third down, getting off schedule, then certainly that's all going to show up. So yeah, absolutely.
All righty, let's go next to Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Hey, Ryan, just to follow up on Chip, are you envisioning Chip, continuing to take on that kickoff return role for the rest of a year, or are you kind of experimenting game by game there?
We're going to give him an opportunity and see how it goes. We think that he's seen it. He's shown us enough that he's earned the right to take it back. And I think the guys believe in him. So like anything else, we'll put him back there and then evaluate it after the game and kind of see where to go next.
All righty, let's go next to Jared Smalley, WCMH.
Hi, Ryan. A question for you related to your defense and the structure of it. When you get ready to face a quarterback who is multiple, like you saw with Buckner from Notre Dame, can you walk us through the structure of how this defense works that gives itself some strength to defend against a quarterback who is multiple?
Yeah, in the first, I guess this will be our third game going against a quarterback who, can beat you with his arm and with his feet. So, we have to be aware of that. I think what happens on defense when you're playing somebody like that is you have to play assignment football. Somebody has the running back, somebody has the quarterback. And so, you have to be disciplined when you're playing against quarterbacks like this. I think that's the first thing. I think the second thing is when you're in the passing game is, you have to be smart about how you're rushing them, and you have to be aware of the scramble. I think that affects a lot. So, there's certainly schematically some things, but more importantly, it's being aware of what you're up against. For instance, if you're a defensive back, and the quarterback's going to extend plays for a little longer, you may have to cover a little bit longer. If you're rushing up front, you have to make sure that the quarterback can't escape the pocket. I think those are all the types of things that you need to be locked into when you're playing against a dual threat quarterback.
All righty, let's go next to Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Hey, Ryan, what is it that Donovan Jackson has or does that gives him a higher ceiling than the average interior offensive lineman?
Well, first, his size. Secondly, his athleticism. I think lastly, his strength, when it comes to just the physical part of it. And then there's the mental part. He's very, very intelligent. He can process high levels of information. He's a high achiever. So I think when you mix all those things together, you see somebody who in his second year really and he played a little bit last year too, in a developmental position. he's closed the gap real fast and became a starter and now become a significant contributor to the offense.
All righty, let's go next to Stephen Means from Cleveland.com. Stephen.
Ryan, obviously you're probably happy with the explosive plays this offense had against Arkansas State, but just on the other side of that is you got a couple of 3-and-outs. Just talk about that, like what needs to maybe get cleaned up with some of those, or kind of nip those in the bud a little bit here and be a little bit more.
I think when you're playing against certain styles of defenses, you have to understand going into the game what style of game it's going to be. And Arkansas State did a really good job of challenging us to line of scrimmage. I think you guys saw a lot of press man-to-man. They were down low. Very similar to the defense that we played here in the past, back when, Coach Meyer was here, where, you saw quarters, you saw press man-to-man on the outside. It's very similar to the way Michigan State played. And so the style of that defense is to challenge easy throws. When you're going against a bend but don't break defense, you have to it's high completion percentage games. You're going to move the ball in between the 20s, but then you have to finish off drives. I think on the flip side, when you're going against a team that challenges you a lot in man-to-man, the completion percentage may not be as high. You may have a couple 3-and-outs, but you're also going to have some explosive plays. And I think not panicking in those situations and understanding the game you're in is very, very important, certainly for the quarterback. But that being said, we don't ever want to go 3-and-out. So there's some things we can certainly clean up and just execution areas so that those things don't happen.
All righty, we'll go next to Joey Kaufman from the Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, we haven't seen the big numbers from Jack Sawyer as far as like the sack totals or TFLs, but as far as how you think he's done is creating pressure and moving around in that Jack role, how do you think that's gone the first couple of weeks?
I think it's been good. I think he's graded out well. And, the more snaps that we get under our belt on defense, the more you're going to see production. And, I think the first game, there was 49 plays, and this other game we had some more, but the more you're seeing these guys on the field, the more production you're going to see. But he's off to a great start. He had a really good summer, and he's a big part of our defense.
All righty, we'll go next to Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on SI.
Hey Ryan, how I guess I'm wondering about like a correlation. Do you see a correlation between the penalties you've committed on defense with maybe like a really aggressive style of defense? And of the penalties that you're trying to correct, how many of them do you consider to be, good aggressive mistakes that you can live with versus like, hey, that was a sloppy play and we just can't afford that?
Yeah, I would say in particular the ones on defense the last couple of weeks. I think certainly that the pre-snap penalties, the false starts, that's just a lack of discipline. We got to clean that up. I know Coach Jay's all over that. Defensive pass interferences. There's things that we're working on. I know Tim's working on to try to get them, in better situations to close on the ball cleaner. I think some of those things are going to happen. Not that they're acceptable, but they are. And we're going to try to limit those the best we can. But to me, it's the things like if it's a late hit, which again, by the sideline, we obviously don't want to do that, but it's football. So there are going to be some things that are hard to work through. But there's also other ones that we can certainly control. And those are the ones that we want to focus on cleaning up.
All righty. We got two more. First one is Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle.
Ryan, as the head coach at Ohio State, did you ever expect to be putting a linebacker back as your kickoff returner?
Well, I think we've had two guys now, both Steele and Chip, that have made the transition from running back to linebacker. And, over the years, when you look at some of the really good linebackers, a lot of them had offensive backgrounds, just, feet, vision, and some of them, their best player on the field and on their high school team, they handled the ball. And so, as these guys make their transition, they were both good running backs and certainly could both play running back here at Ohio State. And when you have those bigger, stronger guys, that can give you some value in the kickoff return game, then we want to do that. And we're hoping this pays off for us, but we'll have to see once we get on the field and get some snaps and some returns under Chip's belt.
Thanks. Yep. All righty, we'll wrap it up with Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch.
Hi, Ryan. I know it's coaching 101, never to underestimate an opponent, and Toledo has a very good program. But you also are a big favorite. A lot of fans are hoping to see the backups play quite a bit. Given your experience from 2020 when COVID prevented you from that, how important is that to get these guys reps? I think 14 guys saw their first reps last week.
Well, the first thing is if we're even thinking about that, then we're asking ourselves asking for trouble, as you know, and I think you know that. And so we've got to win the game. And if we have any expectations other than that, we're setting ourselves up. And we need to look no further than what happened last week across the country. So we gotta do an unbelievable job of coming out fast, playing fast, and doing a great job against Toledo. The more we play this season, the more guys are going to get in the game, and the more opportunity guys have to play depth. That's going to be a good thing for us, and we can continue to evaluate and figure out where the depth of our program is going. And certainly that COVID year, as you said, that hurt us. It did. I mean, it set us back a little bit. Well, now we have an opportunity, hopefully this year, to get more guys in the game, a lot more opportunity, and we can continue to build the youth of our program. But that has nothing to do with this game in particular, so we're going into this game, just like anything, get the game to the fourth quarter, win the game in the fourth quarter. But that also being said, we still don't feel like we've had a real fast start. I mean, we were okay last week, but we want to play really good in this first half.
If I can sneak one in, do you have any injury update on Jackson or Julian or Cam Babb for that matter?
Yeah, we're hoping all those guys are going to be, on the fields in pregame warmups, and that they'll be available for the weekend.
Thank you.